bluffing, he's bluffing.
Oh!
He broke it.
Oh! I got 100 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, and 11-year-olds and made them fight for $100. There's gonna be some insane fights, and by the end of it, all 3 teams go to war. Also, if the 9-year-olds win, I have to eat a jalapeno by the end of the video. There are also some secret insane PvPers that aren't 9 years old and snuck into the event. Players like Only a Squid and Rasplin are some of the world's best PvPers. The game had started, and only 7 minutes in, I went to a player and he already had full iron armor.
They're already getting diamond armor, iron armor.
Oh yeah, by the way, the grace period is only on for 1 hour, and after the grace period is over, there will be war. The 9-year-olds were in the desert biome, and they actually were really smart and took advantage of it. They got a bunch of saplings so that they wouldn't be limited to wood like most desert biomes. We were now just over 20 minutes into the grace period, and players were already enchanting their gear.
Already enchanting.
Pretty smart for 9-year-olds. I'm joking. This team was desperate for food, so I spawned some cows to make it look like they found it by themselves.
Okay, I'm gonna spawn some cows. Wait, what? I don't see the cows. They finally found cows.
Players were really starting to get creative with not much time left to the grace period. One of the teams even made a skeleton farm out of a spawner they found.
Oh, okay. On the other hand, players were starting to get smarter.
This was really smart because they could use this to get insane amounts of XP. The 10-year-olds in the snow biome were doing really well, and it looked like they were attempting to break the border somehow. Meanwhile, the 11-year-olds decided to build a fort in the jungle which could be used to defend themselves after the grace period. The 11-year-olds were being really smart. They created a giant base with a wall around it, so whoever tried to intrude it instantly had a disadvantage. A few 9-year-olds spotted a player from the 11-year-olds all by himself.
Damn, a lonely blue person.
But then some backup came to help out their fellow teammate who was in danger. The 9-year-olds retreated, not wanting to risk losing any of their teammates, although one brave soldier stayed behind. And then he died. The chase was on, one team running for their lives against the team that had just killed the 9-year-old's teammate. After a while of chasing, a player from the red team, LavaReal, had started building up, fearing for his life. LavaReal had built up and created a small base, but the enemy was approaching quickly. LavaReal broke the planks under his enemy, and then after a split second of PvP, LavaReal had fallen to his death. F in the comments for LavaReal. Meanwhile, the rest of the 9-year-olds that went on the mission were down to just 3 players.
The clan was now only 3 players. Dabbycat, Kiwinetic, and Sharkgills. They were mourning upon their fallen teammates. They had nowhere else to go.
We'll come back to them later, but right now the jungle team was really smart and decided to create a dock to do fishing as their primary source of food. Also, Rasplin and Only a Squid were by far the most stacked team in the event, and they were with the 11-year-olds. They also did a 200 IQ play. They found a way under the bedrock wall and were able to get around the other sides. Pretty smart for 9-year-olds. I also kind of want them to win, because if they do, then I won't have to eat the jalapeno by the end of the video. But I guess we'll see what happens. In the cave that they were mining, there was someone else from an enemy team. But then they saw him.
They saw the player. They ran at it. They went down. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. And they started to fight. Shameless. Shameless.
Meanwhile, the desert team had no idea what was coming to them. The deadliest virus was about to happen. A virus started breaking out throughout the whole world. Everyone was being poisoned and no one knew how long it would last. All the players were quickly losing their health and fearing for their lives. A few players died, but then it ended and everyone went back to normal. The grace period was about to end and everyone was going to go to war. Because who doesn't want $100 free? The borders fell. Meanwhile, Only a Squid and Rasplin were getting super good enchants on their diamond armor. These guys are literally insane. I then went to a random player on the 10-year-old team and figured out that the majority of them were attempting to make progress towards searching for some players to kill. As they crossed the border, they were heading straight towards the jungle biome. This was also the biome that Rasplin and Only a Squid were in. The 10-year-olds were certainly ready to risk their lives in the battle as they approached within 50 blocks of the enemy team. Then they started to build up. They started making sky bases. But would this be enough? They were bridging over the walls of the enemy team's giant base. War was about to break out. Both teams were building up towards the build limit, making massive sky bases. And then war began. They fished this player off the sky base to his immediate death. The one player left in full enchanted armor was not yet noticed by the other team. Could he take one for the team and somehow get away with the victory in this war? But then he went down. He got a few hits, but then he realized he was severely outmatched. So he started running away. He was building up, but then a phantom hit him off. This was not looking good for him. There were 4 11-year-olds running right at him and seeking to kill him. But he couldn't escape, and he had to take this risk and 1v4 them and hope for a miracle. But sadly, he died. The 11-year-olds were able to take down the team of 10-year-olds. A group of 9-year-olds decided that they wanted to take the chance against the powerful 11-year-olds. These were almost the last 9-year-olds in the whole world. Would they fall into the same trap that the 10-year-olds fell into? Well, I guess we're about to find out. A group of 11-year-olds noticed them and they looked more than ready to fight. When the 9-year-olds saw them, they decided to retreat because they did not want to die. Now let's check back on this guy. He is one of the last 10-year-olds and he's just chilling underground waiting for the challenge to be over. Meanwhile, the 11-year-olds were the most stacked by far. But then something insane happened. Only a squid, Rasplin, and their team were heading straight towards the remaining group of 10-year-olds. It looked like another war was going to begin. But this time, it included 2 of the world's best Minecraft PvPers. The 10-year-olds were quickly retreating, but would they be able to run away from only a squid and Rasplin? The last survivor was very low and the enemy team was quickly catching up to him. Rasplin on the 11-year-old team then curled right in front of him and killed him. It looked like nothing was gonna stop the 11-year-olds from beating the game. They had enchanted diamond gear as well as 2 insane PvPers. It was them against the whole server. One lonely 9-year-old decided to take his chances against a few of the 11-year-olds.
And he's like, they were just killing random people. They were just going around killing everyone.
Then Rasplin approached one single player from the 9-year-old team and he stood no chance. The blue team was on a rampage and this was really good because if they won then I wouldn't have to eat the jalapeno. Players were dying left and right. This was insane. The border was also closing quickly, meaning eventually all the players would be forced into the same spot and fight to the death. It was closing on several fearful players trying to escape the powerful 11-year-olds. One of the players was mining away from the border, but then his pickaxe broke. How was he gonna get away? His pickaxe had broken, and now his only option was to try and break out of there with his fist. He was the last player on the red team, but fortunately for him, he was able to escape. For now. But then, after all of what he went through, he died to fall damage. The 11-year-olds had won. Or had they? I realized that I couldn't split $100 between 30 players, so I decided to let them fight each other. That means only one winner, and only a squid and Rasplin were among the last 30 players. But Rasplin and only a squid decided to team up, and they were killing everyone. Now just down to a few players, Rasplin and Squid were still absolutely destroying everyone in their path. After a lot of difficult fights, it was down to just 2 players, Squid and Rasplin. The fight started quickly. They were both in a hurry to win the $100. So this is what happened.
What happened?
I'm at the very bottom,
I think you got
guys.
TP'd from the border, maybe. How do I?
Okay, so, do anvils not work? Oh, shoot.
How did you get down here so quick? No way. This is it.
This is it! This is it!
This is it.
This is it! Yes!
This is it. That's it. Oh no. Oh no, you're in a bad position. I don't know who's doing better and who's doing worse.
Okay,
Lurky.
I'm pretty much dead here.
No.
I'm lost.
You're bluffing, you're bluffing.
Oh!
no,
He broke it.
oh!
Oh!
No! I'm sorry.
GG's.
GG's.
That was the most intense PvP fight I have ever seen. 2 of Minecraft's best PvPers head to head for $100. Out of 100 Minecraft players, Rasplin was the one that walked away with the victory, and more importantly, the $100 prize. Subscribe if you want to be in one of these events, and new videos every Thursday.